Facing the lion is always positive. And so I ask you today, as we are going to be facing our lions or challenges of the week, what did you face this week that was challenging to you? Good morning, and welcome to Facing the Lion for finally Friday. We are talking about inspiration, challenging yourself through inspiration. How do you challenge yourself through inspiration as we are challenging ourselves? Our podcast is inspired by all kind of inspirational quotes. We go deeper and deeper into the meaning and how we can apply it to ourselves. Our Vibe Talk question today is, if you were a quote, what would your quote best say about you? I have two. And my first one is, when a person shows you who they are, believe them. I learned that from Dr. Maya Angelou. And my other one is, I will rise. No matter what happens in life, I will always believe that I will rise. And I'm asking you for your rising. So today we will talk about inspiration and challenging ourselves through inspiration. How many of you actually have looked at a quote and said, that quote says me? How many of you have actually done that? If you've done that, then you know exactly what we're talking about. Inspiration is to inspire, give life to, help someone to think about. And that's what we do as we inspire you from Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. And I want to thank you guys too, because you do inspire me. Just step away for just a second. You all inspire me. Good morning, Trish.
Good morning.
And I can hear you. As you all inspire me, we're discussing inspiration. As you all inspire me, how many of you have been inspired? I think your mic is muted, Trish. It's on your side, though. Oh, there it is. And I want to tell you something. We just talked about our quote. If you had a quote that described you or parts of your personality, what quote would it be, Trish?
That's a good question. I have to think about that.
I just said what mine were, and mine were when when a person shows you who they are, believe them. And I Rise, both are by Maya Angelou. I love inspiration, and I think that we could challenge ourselves when we face our challenges by looking at our life to inspire us. Now think about it. We can have the choice to inspire others or be inspired. We can have both of those. Who inspires you, Trish?
The person that inspires me is my dad. He's the person that inspires me because he's a hard worker. He doesn't let anything stop him. He's very determined, and he's also willing to keep going regardless of how hard it is. He knows what he has to do and what he must do. So that's why he inspires me. Oh, and he also inspires me in faith. He always puts his trust in God, so that's also very inspiring to me about him.
Okay. I love that. In fact, I was in conversation yesterday with a friend of mine, and I was saying about her son in that he was born with what you and I might think is a bit of a challenge, but yet I find him very inspirational because he doesn't let that stop him. And that's how we're being remembered when we think about the inspiration that we've left toward people. Inspirational or inspiration. How do you want to inspire someone? We're asking that question as well. How would you want to inspire someone? What would you leave for them? And I think for me, that I would leave for a person to be inspired is my determination to try something new. If I have an idea, instead of just talking about the idea, I'm the person that wants to leave the person with, don't just think about it, go ahead and dive in. What does that mean? Well, then we can take risk and we can challenge ourselves to take risk. People take all kinds of risks in life. Have you all noticed that? They've taken risk of skydiving. They've taken risk of hiking to the depth of the mountain. They've swam across rivers and seas. But now, as we're inspired by that, what will inspire you? Many have uplifted us. Many have influenced us. But now, when we're inspiring others, if nobody tells us that we're inspiring them, how would we know? And that's a good question to think about. Every time my co-host and I get on air, you know what we want to do? We want to lift each other up. We want to inspire people. We want to help them to be inspired so that they can grow and become the very best for themselves and to themselves. Trish, did you want to say something? Just step right in.
Yeah, I was gonna say that that I agree. When we come on here, we do want to lift each other up, and also it's an example for other people too. If somebody inspires you and you guys are on the same team, like host and co-host, or in a partnership or something, let them know that they inspire you and show them your appreciation of them.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. So, when is the best time to challenge ourselves to become inspirational or to be influenced by inspiration? I cannot get my words right. And when we think about it, is it now a good time challenging ourselves to inspire people? When we think about people in our life, who in our lives right now could you think about that could use inspiration? And before we answer that, let's think about, why are we afraid to let other people inspire us? There are people out there that envy people who are always inspiring other people. There are other people out there that will not tell you that you inspire other people. It's like a holding back something. But for every person that has always inspired somebody to do better than yesterday, I say, yay. So as this week has passed by, who did you inspire? Who inspired you? I've already told you mine. As we look back on the week, what challenges, as we always ask, did we face and we could have used inspiration? You know, Monday morning comes and we say, back to work, back to the grind. Could have used a little inspiration, right? But what quote could you have given yourself Monday morning when you were going to start the week? Because a lot of people just can't hop out of bed and say, well, it's Monday. Here we go. They need inspiration. So when we think let's fire up. Let's challenge ourselves to fire up inspiration. We have many people that have listened to us, many people who look at our YouTube channel, hear our stream. We hope that we're inspiring them to do something great. Situations. When can we look at our situation? Let's ask this question. How many times have we felt like giving up in situations? We felt that we're tired, we don't want to go on, and we needed the opportunity to press on. But yet you don't have anyone to say, keep going. How are you inspired to do just that? To keep going. Do you just keep going, or do you not challenge yourself to do better? How many times have we all fell on hard times? Or felt that we just couldn't accept the challenge. Why am I asking you this? Because there's going to be times that things show up in your life, your struggles, your challenges. You're going to be challenged with people in your life, trying to inspire them. You will have to think about how to inspire them. Let me just tell you this, come a little closer. There may be people in and around us that we never inspire. How does that work? Because they will see you do something great, and they will act as if it doesn't faze them. They will see you not give up. I can't look at anybody who is made of determination. That is why I like the quote of inspiration, still I rise. Because no matter what you do in life, you must be affected by the things that you've gone through, and you can use those things to inspire other people. Had an opportunity to chat with a photographer who does just that. In the midst of her struggle, she inspires other women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. And I'm going to be part of that inspiration to go and do a photo shoot because of inspiring other people. I thought, wow, what an art, what a creative way to inspire someone. And with that inspiration, as she's dealing with each woman in their middle ages, she's creating a book. She's creating a photography book, and all those women that she's working with are going to be invited to an art gallery of many women like them. If you don't find that inspiring, I don't know what will be inspiring to you. What do you think, Trish?
I think that's actually very inspiring. I like that sort of thing because it's like people coming together and saying, "Hey, we inspire people."
Yeah.
And it shows like we know that we're gifted in inspiring people through our art,
Yeah.
and we're acknowledging ourselves. That's
Yeah.
what I appreciate about that.
Yeah, and that's exactly what she's doing. She wants to be able to inspire others through what they've done. So all these women are having something to offer. I thought it was very interesting as I fact checked her work that there was a woman that she told me about in briefing, and the woman, she directed me to her story because her story is an art form. I looked at the woman's photograph and she looked perfectly healthy. That woman was filled with cancer and has since passed away. Do those people inspire you? And I thought, wow, I do photography, so, I figured every person has a different type of photography. And I thought, wow, to take women women in their ages and their stories and put it together in picture form is awesome. So that's how I face challenges today. I was very inspired by this woman in her photography. So I will go in on December the 5th and she will be able to spend time with me in photography and my story. I will go to her studio. So I'm excited because it challenges me to look at what I have helped others. And still others will be inspired. The lady that I just spoke of who passed away from cancer, she doesn't know me. We've never met. But yet, since she has passed on, she has inspired me much. Are there people like that in your life? Now, I want to have you think about these moments. How can you be ready to lead or influence others? To accept the challenge that I'm asking you to accept today of inspiring other people. Because quotes, inspirational quotes, do just that. They inspire you to do something, to think about, to rise above. They change your mindset. They offer you hope and uplifting. That's why I like inspirational quotes. And all 3 years you will have listened and you've heard us quote inspiration. I want to challenge all of you today. Are you ready? I want you to think about yourself and how you have influenced and inspired others to do something that has been inspirational. I want you to discover in yourself your ability, your capability, your acceptability to be able to inspire at least one person in your life. Are you ready to take and accept the challenge? You know, because many of us want to be leaders, but we aren't willing to lead. Come a little closer. I said many of us want to be leaders, but we aren't willing to lead. How does that make sense? Because we have so many people that want to be the boss, that wants to sit in the chief's chair, that wants to do this or that, and the list goes on. But they're not willing to listen. They aren't willing to lift a finger or a bone. In order for us to lead well, we must listen better. That goes for me too. I think it's important for the way that we live is to lead by example. Did I say perfect example? Because, you know, we look for words to word pitch. But we're going to talk about verbalization. When we say leading by example, who has inspired you? And what is one thing that you would do if you were that person that you most admired? What is one thing that you would do? I have a voice. And I have people that I look up to. Oprah Winfrey. I think she's been a beautiful role model. What can I learn from her? The stories that are unforgettable in the early days when Oprah Winfrey was Oprah Winfrey and not just Oprah. In the early days of her show, I can remember so many unforgettable stories that inspired me, that made me think about, wow, these people have really been through something. So that's how I looked. Now, in order for her to get those stories, she had to listen, because sometime later in the show, when she became Oprah, just Oprah, guess what? Those people were invited back. Why were they invited back? Because they inspired others. I want you to be able to get connected to yourself by thinking about the priceless ways that you can inspire others to inspire others. We've had commentary of people that have literally said about our show, thank you so much. Thank you for the beauty that you've done. Or they've listened to something and they've liked it. Or people have went on to attempt to be life coaches. They've started their own podcast. If anyone can have a podcast, but here's the key. What kind of podcast do you want to have? Do you want to have one that serves a purpose of being unforgettable? Or do you want to have a podcast where anything goes? You'll take any ratings. Trish and I work very, very hard. And that's why we're encouraging you to help inspire you. We wait for people to inspire us. Our foundation more than likely comes from our parents inspiring us to do good, to do well, to be able to grow up and be somebody. And that's what I gathered from growing up. But now, what about you, the adult? What are you inspired to do? The inspirational quotes that you see from us is for the purpose for you to get inspired. Here are some beautiful quotes about challenging yourself. The only way to grow is to challenge yourself. If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. Push yourself because no one else is going to do it for you. Challenge yourself. It's the only path which leads to growth. You have to challenge yourself to be better than yesterday. Are you up for the challenge? Think about that. Think about the ways that someone has inspired you. And what would you take from them to be an inspiration? I've told you about my friend's son that was born with what you or I would say it's challenging. But oh no, what has influenced me, and I just said this the other day, to see him run like no other. And the challenging thing is in his muscles. That's what I'm going to say. And he ran out there with my younger son with the football, and it was so impressive to me that I never forgot it. So think about that. When you have encountered challenges, when you are struggling, that you never stop striving toward success. Many of us have been challenged, whatever it is. Some of our challenges you can't see, while others you can see. But don't let it challenge you to stop you dead in your tracks. Keep going. We learn from others. That's the point. Come a little closer. I said we learn from others. We learn from others. We are able to help people. We are able to enable them to remember, and we are able to inspire them to act. We have done over some 300 podcasts in 3.5 years. Don't you think somebody is inspired by us? So we have helped people to learn. We've helped them to come into their stories, get connected with themselves, although we are not perfect. And that's what I always share with people. Just because I'm doing a podcast does not make me perfect. Get inspired. You've heard other people tell their stories. You've heard other people and why they do what they do. I was talking to the photography lady. Well, I'm going to be part of her story. And as I told my story, she began to cry. And her words were, "You have indeed inspired me." That kind of effect on people. They will never forget you, just as I have never forgotten. I want you to challenge yourself to inspire others. It is important that you and I challenge ourselves to be able to overcome the things that will stop us, or the things that were meant to distract us. I want you to be able to achieve excellence. It's important to create space to inspire others. When we have no reason for living, we never know what we did yesterday that might inspire someone today, or what we can do today that will inspire someone to keep on living. We never know that. Stay motivated, challenge yourself, and always find inspiration. Aren't you inspired that you now at Friday, you got up Monday and maybe you didn't feel so great? You looked ahead and said, wow, we've got to Friday, and you're here. That means that you have challenged yourself to get all the way to Friday. Finally, we're going to be right back with Tricious Treasures. We'll be right back.
Facing the lions, facing the lions.
We're back with Tricious Treasures. Trish?
I recall seeing two videos yesterday on my reels, and I was scrolling through the reels and I saw that someone was driving by a person who was sitting in the road, and um the person had headphones on, and my first thought is, whoa, they're trying to end their lives, because who would be sitting in the road? And the woman who was in the video, the person was trying to talk to her, They were trying to tell her that it's going to be okay. Anything that you're going through, this too shall pass, and you have so much life to live. Whatever you're going through, that it is going to get better. That God has a plan for you. She was telling her that, and the woman, she got up, and the person that was talking to her, she was telling her that she was telling her to get up. She kept telling her, she said, get up, get up, get up. She kept repeating it. And the person finally got up. And the lady was like, just keep going, keep going. And the woman walked off. And that video inspired me because it made me think of, why do you do music? Why do you talk about the topics you talk about? And it just made me think of sometimes the something that you have so much passion for, the things that you talk about, the music that you write, you have so much passion for, and you know that somebody needs to hear it, but you feel like no one's listening, it's not reaching them. It will, and it can. It can reach somebody, and it will reach not just someone, but the right someone, the person that needs to hear it. Whether it's one or two or three, it matters. Because I remember I was in that dark state. I remember before we moved to this house, uh, I remember I was in a dark state. I was thinking about going outside and just sitting in the road like that lady was doing. And oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
Mhm. Okay. Take your time. We get raw here. And what we want you to understand is that feelings and emotions are okay. And we appreciate Trisha's treasures because they're real and they're raw. And they are based on her stories and her experiences. Just let me know when you're ready, Trish. Take your time.
Okay.
Um,
I'm ready.
okay, go ahead.
I was thinking about doing that, and nobody knew that was where my mind was,
Yeah.
but it was. And I just thank God that I found out that my existence has meaning, and that I do have a purpose
Mm-hmm.
in this world. And because I know that I do have a purpose, like, it makes me thrive to keep going in life. It helps me continue to live. And I wake up every day and I constantly say my prayers, and I thank God for helping me to see the next day, because before I didn't want to wake up. I didn't want to see the next day. I'm like, when will this be over? Like, it would be great if it was shortened. And um that's why I continue to write inspiration in my music, because inspiration helped me to persevere and be resilient, and see where when I do make mistakes, it's okay. You made a mistake, even though it's hard for me to accept sometimes. When I do make a mistake, I always say, you know what? What can I make out of this mistake? How can I make lemonade out of these lemons? And and I saw another video yesterday, and it was a woman. She she went to her son's grave, and she was singing him happy birthday. And it made me emotional because I'm like, regardless of if he's passed, she's still celebrating the life that he lived there. He lived on this earth. And that also reminded me of, you know what? Some people they don't think their lives mean anything, and that they're just living, they're going through the motions, but their existence has so much meaning. And then I thought, you know what? My existence has so much meaning. And then I thought of uh an album that I made. It's called Beautiful Existence. That album right there was a letter to myself, telling myself that I, I it is beauty. There's beauty in my existence, and to celebrate myself, to celebrate my existence, because I don't have to listen to that album on my birthday. I could listen to that album, every day if I wanted to celebrate. You know what? You're here. You got up another day. Here you go again. And on Monday, I was sick. And to answer the question, what quote has inspired me? And this main quote is like, "This too shall pass." Um, I love that quote because that's saying you'll get through it. This is only for a moment. This is only temporary. You will get through it. And it inspires me when I see people with terminal illnesses, like my aunt. She has a terminal illness and her going through her treatment. And she still continues to live her life. Some days it's hard for her. She would some days she has days crying and things like that. But she still gets up. She goes to the store. She talks to my cousins, and she loves spending time with her niece. She takes her niece everywhere, and she's still living her life, and that inspires me. Whatever hard thing I'm going through, she can I can continue to live my life and continue to push forward. So whatever inspires you, or if you feel like, where's my inspiration at? Like, I need that now. I think Vibe Talk is a great, um, a great example for that, because where is my inspiration at is a good question. That's what I ask myself. Where is my inspiration at? And when you come and you go to a platform and see people that relate to you, that's the people that are around you, and they've asked that same question. Where is my inspiration? Where can I find that light people are talking about, that hope people are talking about? And you see people that relate to you, and they find that answer. I know that it inspired me, and I hope it inspires you to look for that answer and to appreciate your existence and see that you are an inspiration by every day that you live.
For more Trisha's treasures, please, you can hashtag Trisha's treasure. You can go to her, and she is affiliated. Trisha's treasure, excuse me, is affiliated with Vibe Talk Facing Lion. You can also go to our website, our YouTube channel, excuse me. Please go to our YouTube channel and you can find her there. Thank you, Trish, for that very powerful challenge. You inspire me. You want to get inspired? Especially you young people. A word to all the wise. Be around people who inspire you. I constantly say this. If if you're not around people who inspire you, it's like running to a dried up well, looking for water, looking to be watered. I'm going to say this again in closing. If you want to be around, if you want to get inspired, be around inspiring people. I think it leaves something to be desired in all of us, that we have something that we can inspire other people by. My whole week, ever since I ran into this lady about the photography, the fact that we had only spent 20 minutes talking, and she said, "You were making me tear up by the things that you are telling me. I'm so inspired by your story." We never know how we're going to inspire people. Let's challenge ourselves. Are you up for the challenge? Do you accept the challenge to be inspiring to others and allow others to inspire you? It's a mindset, after all. Until next time, thank you for hanging out with us this week at Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. Please join us again, and we will be streaming our stories. Thank you so much. Thank you to my amazing co-host Trish, who inspires me every day. Thank you. And thank you to all of you that are listening wherever you are around the world. If you can't find us, we have our very own social media page on Facebook by the same name, Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. We also are on your major platforms: iHeartRadio, Spotify, and wherever your faves are. Go there, listen, get inspired. Tell us what inspires you. And that's the question. If you were a quote, what quote would you be? What quote best describes you? That's our question for today. Until next time, we'll see you next week. And don't forget, on Saturdays, 8 o'clock, you'll spend an hour with me on Vibe Talk After Dark radio show. And if we should get cut off by any means, we'll still stream it for you. Look for it. Thanks, everybody, for accepting the challenge. We'll see you soon.